Welcome to Let's Talk Wellness, where we will be sharing insights into the world of mental health and wellness as we explore traditional medicine and holistic healing options. It's time to have new conversations about mental health. Join Mara James, the founder and CEO of the Hugs for Life Healing Center, as she guides us along this journey. And now, let's talk wellness.
Welcome to Let's Talk Wellness. I'm your host, Mara James, and I want to say thank you for joining us for today's conversation. During Let's Talk Wellness, we focus on healing, understanding, growth, and spirituality. This is part of the Hugs for Life Healing Center, which is associated with a non-for-profit organization called Extraordinary Lives Foundation, where we're devoted to supporting the mental health awareness and providing resources for children and their families. As the founder of these organizations, I have the great joy of collaborating with a team of amazing people to help bring healing to children and their families around the world. You could find out all of our information at elfempowers.org, and you could find this link in the show information. Now, let's talk wellness with today's guest, Tom Paladino, a Scalar Energy researcher. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Mara. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So, of course, the first question before we ask anything is, what is scalar energy?
Simply stated, scalar energy is the energy of the sun and the stars. It's not electricity. I work with scalar energy instruments in which I can actually capture the energy of the sun and the stars and then put it to a productive use.
Wow. How did you even get involved with this? What is a machine like this? How does it work? What does it look like? Do tell.
Yeah, this behind me is a scalar energy instrument. Now, to be very clear, these are custom-built instruments. I'm not working with electricity. It's a different type of energy. I consider this instrument to function like a miniature star. The instrument is on. I'll demonstrate. There's so much energy coming off of this Tesla coil that if I pass a light bulb close by, the light bulb will illuminate under the influence of scalar energy. That's a miniature star. So I'm working with the energy of the stars. And it's quite unique. And I must say, what you can do with this energy is quite profound in application.
And tell us about that. What different applications?
Well, in particular, when I'm working with this instrument, it's working with what I call non-physical light. In other words, you don't have to be physically present to experience it. So what am I getting at? I work with people by way of their photograph. This instrument works in a different dimension. It's not electricity. So with this instrument, I can access a force field, what some people might call consciousness or their signature on a photograph. I don't never work with people. I work with energy force fields on a photograph. And in so doing, the energy so strong, if I place a person's photograph inside the instrument, it will perform a chakra balancing. It will actually download white light, bright light into their aura, into their, what I call their 7 chakras or their brain waves. So it's a new branch of physics in which we're working with information. It's massless, there's no mass, and we send information. We only work with information.
Wow. And do you need a physical picture of somebody? Like if they send you, so they text you a picture, what do you?
That's correct. That's correct. People they text me a photograph, and in so doing, then it's the instrument that will download that white light into their chakras, into their brain waves. So if you and I can have a conversation by Zoom, obviously you're not in my computer, I'm not in your computer. We share an image by way of Zoom. Well, likewise with this instrument, this is my Zoom instrument in which I can access consciousness on a person's photograph.
Wow. And when you access consciousness, for people that haven't heard that term before, can you explain a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, let's call it the mind of God, or let's call that the intelligence of the universe, in which we can access, if you will, this energy field. Some people might call it the Akashic record. Others might call it Christ consciousness. Some people might call it the Om or Chi or Prana. Mm-hmm. There's an information field that pervades the universe. And we simply tap into that information field. or what some people might call the force or the field itself. A very interesting branch of physics, it's a new branch of physics. It's matterless, it's massless, there's no mass. So we're not working with physical matter.
Okay, and how did you first get into this?
I read about the great scientist Nikola Tesla, and I wanted to be like Tesla. I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Tesla and follow up with his work. So I'm trying to follow Tesla in his work. Tesla had scalar energy instruments like this, and he was able to work in a different dimension, no longer working in this physical realm, but working in a non-physical realm. All of my work is non-physical. So this is why people can send me a photograph and I can access non-physical reality as Tesla was over 100 years ago can access non-physical reality.
Wow. For me, I'm familiar with this. Of others, it must be mind-blowing for like what they're hearing. How long has this science been around?
Nikola Tesla, over 100 years ago, was the first man to develop scalar energy instruments, and he was able to demonstrate how those instruments could indeed apply scalar energy and he could produce results. And maybe 10 other researchers over the past century have been able to demonstrate that. I am one of them. Now, the point to my work is this. I have to prove, first of all, that this energy exists and that there's benefits. So I prove that it exists by showing demonstrations like this by way of your podcast. Thank you. And then I can prove it when I work with a person by way of their photograph in the quantum field. And if people feel better, then people can say that, yes, there's a science to a photograph. A photograph carries energy, and this instrument can influence that energy pattern or influence the consciousness on the photograph.
Wow. And just so for the photograph, does it have to be a current picture?
No, that's a great question. The age of the photograph doesn't matter. Why? Scalar energy is ageless. It transcends time and space. So some people send me a photograph that's 20 years ago. It still carries their real-time physical, emotional, spiritual, cognitive force field. So this photograph's probably 3 years old, but it still reports today who I am. It reports in the real-time present setting my cognitive, my physical, my emotional, my spiritual well-being.
Wow. So can you show us when you say you put it in the machine?
Yes.
Like, what that actually means?
So I turn around and I actually place the photograph inside that instrument. Now, what's the point now? Keep in mind that the instrument is operating now, and the instrument is sending me that force field of energy. How powerful is that? I'm going to demonstrate. This is a light bulb that I hold in my hand. That's how powerful the instrument is. It can send that type of energy into my force field. I feel that right now. My photograph is experiencing that amount of energy. I feel that. I can feel that right now in my psyche.
Wow. What does it feel like?
It's a tingling sensation. It's a little tingling sensation, but I feel it. It's quite palpable.
And you feel it like where your third eye is?
Yes, exactly. Right here in my forehead, in my third eye.
Wow.
So
and if somebody, so do you keep it like when you're working with a client, how does it work? They send you a photo.
That's a good point. So 1 hour a day, I balance the chakras. It's again, the instrument is so strong that it can illuminate a light bulb. So 1 hour a day, I work with chakras. Then the second hour, I'm able to work with pathogens, microbes. I'm able to take a photograph of a microbe and match it up with my photograph. The microbe and my photograph communicate. They share information with one another. Okay, there's a sharing of information. And in so doing, my photograph can download with a photograph of a microbe, share information. If I had Epstein-Barr in my quantum field, by sharing this information, I can not only find Epstein-Barr, but eradicate it, bring it to a state of chaos. Now, keep in mind, that's not a chemical process. It's an energetic process. It's quantum. I don't work with people. I work with their substitute, which is their photograph. So I never work with people. There's no biological downside because I don't work with physical life. I work with quantum life. There's a gigantic difference.
Wow. So when you're putting those two pictures together, they're going together in the machine.
Yes, they go side by side in the instrument. And again, there's a sharing of light. Once again, I can share the light of Epstein-Barr into my force field. It's always communication. And in so doing, if I had Epstein-Barr in my quantum field, the photograph of Epstein-Barr would share with my photograph and then remove the Epstein-Barr virus from my photograph.
So what about the opposite? If you had a picture of a person that doesn't have Epstein-Barr and then you have the other photograph and you put them together, is it kind of going to give them, can it give them Epstein-Barr?
No, good question, because I can't create life with this instrument. So I only can take a microbe, a germ, and bring it to a state of chaos. I don't know how to create life.
Okay. And what does that mean when it's in state of chaos? What happens?
The state of chaos, it ceases to function. It's no longer a molecule. It's no longer a coherent molecule. You bring it to a state of chaos, you break down the molecular bonds and it falls apart. I theorize that's what happens.
Wow. And then it somehow leaves the body?
Yes, it fragments, if you will.
Okay.
If you take a virus, you probably can fragment it into different proteins and elements. It's no longer a viable living organism. You've broken it down, you've disassembled or fragmented the virus.
Wow. Have you worked with other types of viruses? Of course, people are going to want to know about COVID,
Yes.
But have you worked with other types?
Yes, we've worked with herpes. We've worked with different types of hepatitis, A, B, C, D, hepatitis virus, HIV virus. We've worked with influenza virus. Yes, we're quite successful. We've worked with human papilloma virus. Many people say we've had great success in eradicating the human papilloma virus. So what this instrument can do is just fabulous. Match up a photograph of a virus in the quantum field. The two energy fields, human papilloma virus and my photograph, communicate, and we bring to a state of chaos, we nullify the human papilloma virus.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this for?
This has taken me 50 years.
50. So you started before you were born.
I'm 63 years of age.
Right.
I've been at this ever since I was a youngster reading about Tesla.
Unbelievable. And did you have somebody guide you to this?
God. I'm self-taught. And the reason I say that, all of my work is groundbreaking. This has never been accomplished before. I had my predecessor, I would say, Galen Hieronymus, although I never met the inventor, these are his instruments in principle. And I was able to work with his instruments and perfect his instruments. So I never met this inventor, Galen Hieronymus, but I give him a great deal of credit.
Wow. Where is he from?
Born and raised in Indiana. He's actually born in 1895. And although a footnote in history, someday the world will pay attention to his work and will give him the proper acclaim that he deserves.
Beautiful. And how did you come across the physical box?
I came across this. God gave me the inspiration to visit the Hieronymus family. At that time, they were living in the state of Georgia. And I struck up a friendship with them, and I was just enthralled with their work. Sadly, very few people wanted to follow up with this work. It takes a great deal of time and effort. And to this day, I follow up with the work of this great man, Galen Hieronymus, an incredible inventor.
Wow. And did you do that full time, or did you have to supplement income another way?
I had to supplement my income. That's why this has been so painstaking. Every step of the way, I've had to invest money, save money, be able to grow my work, and it takes time. I'm at this alone. There's no board of directors helping me. I'm doing this alone.
Wow. Did you ever speak to a university to partner with you?
I have, but none are interested. Nobody has ever shown any interest.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have faith the world is opening up and changing.
Yeah.
One of the local hospitals actually paid us to hire us next month. We're giving a talk because a lot of their therapists are having patients that are hearing and seeing things. So we're giving a talk on understanding subtle senses. So so the world, I believe, is opening up. So your time and energy and effort will come to fruition. And in this time waiting, it definitely keeps you humble, right? Oh my goodness.
You're right. it's a waiting game. It takes time. A new concept like this takes time to get out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
You're
definitely
absolutely right.
God's time, not ours. There's that saying, which I
Yes.
dislike and I love kind of at the same time, hurry up and wait.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'll do what I can do today and the rest is in God's hands. And are you located in California?
I live in Florida now. It's the state of Florida. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Well, definitely if you're in California, I could see some more, universities being open to this, but when it's time, you'll be presented with the perfect partner. I
You're,
see it.
you're right. You're right. It's just a matter of time. I thank you for this opportunity to speak to your audience. This is what it takes. It takes, you have to be diligent. You have to present your work, and then people have to sign up for the free sessions. And then it's a grassroots movement. I have to rely upon people.
Interesting. Yeah, and we're going to talk about the free sessions that you're going to offer to everybody. We'll discuss that at the end of the podcast, but that's so exciting. So when you say, so can you ever put two photos in at the same time? Like
I
of
do
two
that all.
different people?
I do that all the time because we're already quantum entangled. So many days I have people will send me 1,000, 2,000 photographs a day. Today, in total, I had close to 500,000, half a million photographs inside the instrument. Now,
But you
consider
don't
what I'm
think,
saying.
yeah, so no, but you don't think it could entangle like negatively, someone taking on somebody else's stuff?
No, and I'll tell you why. This is divine energy. It's beyond human reasoning. I'm working with energy. First of all, energy is fundamental. It's divine energy. As a fundamental source, nothing can go wrong. See, energy obeys the laws of science. It does not it's not subject to human error. This is what I love about my work. A photograph is a source of light. Light never makes a mistake. When I work with this light instrument, I always have a favorable outcome. Light is always beneficial. Light never makes a mistake. Scalar light never makes a mistake.
Unbelievable. Right. It's like saying God never makes a mistake. That
Yes.
is so amazing. We're going to take a brief break and we come back. We're going to talk more about this amazing topic. And I can't wait if you could show us the machine up front, because I know I have so many more questions. I'm sure our friends watching and listening to us also do. So hold on, everybody. We'll be right back.
In these shifting and changing times, more and more lives are being impacted by mental health. The Extraordinary Lives Foundation, also known as ELF, is transforming the way people view and navigate mental health challenges. Their mission is to improve children's mental health and wellness and support families by providing educational tools, resources, and awareness events. ELF encourages families to recognize symptoms, overcome the stigma, and reach out for help. Through prevention, early intervention, and holistic treatment, we believe many of the big problems facing today's youth can be transformed within a generation. Extraordinary Lives Foundation is excited to offer the Hugs for Life Healing Center, growing a worldwide network of approved holistic healers and bridging the gap between traditional and complementary healing options. Visit the Extraordinary Lives Foundation website at www.elfempowers.org to find out more about their resources and events. Together, we can change the conversation around mental health. We hope that you're enjoying today's Let's Talk Wellness podcast. And if you have a topic that you would like us to explore, we would love to hear from you. Simply email us at info@elfempowers.org. That's info@elfempowers.org. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Wellness. I am your host, Mara James, and today we have Tom Paladino, a Scalar Energy researcher. Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you so much.
So can you show us closer up what the box actually looks like?
Yeah, I'm going to tilt my computer. And this is the power source of the instrument. This is what I call my miniature star that's punctuated, if you will, by these Tesla coils. So this is the custom built instrument. If you can see, I use a vacuum tube. Now, why do I do that? I don't rely upon solid state. I use a vacuum tube to really recreate a universe. Solid state is man's invention, as opposed to a vacuum tube that is, if you will, has that space, has that environment that you can establish a scalar wave. That's really one of the crucial points of this engineering, not relying upon a computer chip, but relying upon a vacuum tube that will allow itself this standing wave, a scalar energy standing wave. So that's some of the engineering behind this instrument. Now, why is this so unique? It's unique because very few people have mastered scalar energy. We live in a world dominated by electromagnetic energy. Okay, that's fine. I'm saying there's a better energy. The better energy is scalar energy. This should be the source, the new source of energy that we're using in our homes. One of my goals is to eventually be able to use this energy to power the world.
Wow. Is it similar? How would you compare it to solar energy?
It's identical. However, when you have solar power panels on your home, you're converting that into DC electricity. That's the downfall. If we could take the scalar energy on a solar panel and keep it as a scalar wave, we'd have a greater gain. And it would be a source of infinite light, infinite power. But we haven't learned how to do that yet. Our solar panels are still working with the electromagnetic spectrum.
Wow. And then, so how would it compare to like a battery in a Tesla car?
A Tesla car is still working with electromagnetic energy, some type of DC charge. And that's fine. But I have to make the distinction. If scalar energy is the apple, electricity is the orange. The two are different.
Yeah.
They'll never be the same. And it's just a matter of time that we learn this science. Electricity is fine for now, but it has its limitations. For instance, it's limited in supply, as opposed to a star that's unlimited energy. Much of the power generation that we use today is dangerous, or it produces some type of pollutant. Well, there's no pollution to a star. Everything's non-physical. So there's a different way of looking at reality.
Right. Yeah. Don't stars die though?
They do, but they go through a cycle and they still have tremendous energy. And it's my contention that cycle is still a scalar energy plasma field, and a star will never die completely. It will go through a cycle.
Wow. And have you ever worked with clients that have mental health challenge? You were talking about physical
Yes.
ailments. What about mental health?
Yes, and we do so by way of this divine intelligence. It's not me. I want to make that very clear. If scalar energy is strong enough to balance the chakras and the brain waves, helps many people with depression or anxiety. We've helped some people with PTSD. Others say that their drinking habits are no longer as strong, that they can give up alcohol or they can give up recreational drugs. Others say that they don't procrastinate as much, that they're much more direct in their work and their involvement. So you put all of that together, it's quite telling. It's quite extraordinary that this energy can have a download on our 7 chakras, on our brain waves, and what I consider correct mental disease, or at least change or improve our mental outlook.
Wow. And how many days would you work with a client or their photo in the machine to see the impact?
We leave that entirely up to people. We don't want to dictate, because only the person can decide that. And this unique science, really, we rely upon people to self-diagnose. I don't diagnose. So to make this very clear, I always offer 15 days of free session to anybody in the world. After that, if people want to go on and become a paying subscriber, that's up to them. It's entirely in their control.
Okay. And what is the difference between the Tesla who invented this technology and the modern Tesla vehicle that most people are familiar with?
I'm glad that Tesla Motors is using that name Tesla to give credence to Nikola Tesla. Now, Tesla started his career with AC electricity. So any type of invention that calls to mind the great man Tesla, I agree with. However, our Tesla coils are still using electromagnetic energy. If our cars were using the energy of the sun and the stars, there would not be any battery. You would not have to charge your car. You would simply run around anywhere, and the star energy would power your car anywhere in the world. You would not need an electrical charger.
And it'd still be like an on-off switch.
You could do that, sure. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's just so amazing. What is the most quote unquote bizarre thing you have seen working with patient clients?
I would say within a day or two, some people tell me that they had a much deeper dream state, or they could sleep finally without interruption. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that scalar energy in some way quickly balanced their brainwaves so that they can recall a dream, or they can sleep without any interruption, as opposed to having insomnia or having sleep problems. Imagine that within 2 or 3 days, some people have that great results. Now, obviously, it's not me. I don't diagnose a person with sleep problem. It's the energy. The divine energy corrects a sleep problem. I can't do that. So what's the point? This is beyond human effort. I don't put my human effort into this instrument. It's divine energy. There's no human reasoning, no human effort. It's all divine energy.
Right. You're just the person that's taking the photo, putting it in there. So you're like the intermediary, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
That is so amazing. Do you have an ideal client that you work with?
No. We offer sessions to people, animals, and plants. I want to work with everybody in the world. This instrument can easily work with 2-3 million photographs a day.
Wow.
If people would start sending us their photographs, we would start working with 2 or 3 million people a day. I need people to try it at least.
Right. And then, so you have one machine, correct?
I have a number of machines.
Okay.
I can work with millions. Yes.
Right. And have you worked with kids before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. With great success. Yes.
What have you seen with children?
They're uncomplicated. They usually respond much better, quicker.
Less layers around the the
Yes.
traumas or whatever else. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, typically, and I think you're accurate in that assumption. Yes.
Yeah. Have you worked with children with ADHD?
Yes, so we have pretty good success. The chakra balancing helps people, especially children, concentrate to a greater extent, to be more social, more talkative, more communicative. It's not the cure. I never use that word cure in reference to medical diagnosis or medical disease, but I'd say it's an improvement in their quantum state.
Wow. And so you said first, before you put the photo in, you're working with their chakras. How does that work?
Let's just say it's automatic. If this instrument can automatically illuminate a light bulb because it's so strong, then it's automatically going to balance your 7 chakras and correct your phobias, correct your addictions, correct PTSD, correct depression. Imagine white light going into my brain waves like that. Imagine what that means, how that's a salutary effort.
That's amazing. Gosh, imagine working with all the, veterans and.
Yes, sign them up. Tell them to visit us.
Definitely.
Sign up for the 15 days. Yes.
Yeah, I'll share our podcast with some my friends, the director of a nonprofit that works with veterans. So yeah, definitely. That would be amazing. So when we spoke before, you said that spirituality and science are the same.
Yes, it's just a different definition of the truth. You can define the truth by spirituality. You can define the truth by scientific inquiry. It's still the truth. It's still reality. Whether it's a spiritual definition of reality or a scientific definition of reality, it's still reality. It's a different perspective. They're synonymous terms.
Right. And it seems to be so separated, right?
It should not be. It should not be.
Yeah.
To me, science is religion. Religion is science. There is no dividing line. Sadly, some people made that dividing line.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you have a special offer for our friends today. Can you share about that?
Anybody in the world can sign up for 15 days of free session. Anybody in the world will work with you for free for 15 days. No questions asked. Send in your photograph, scalarlight.com, and include your family with their permission and your pets, scalarlight.com. For 15 days, we will balance your chakras. We will assemble nutrients by way of these instruments in the quantum realm, not a chemical reaction, but a energetic download of what I would consider phytochemicals and vitamins, etc., and will eradicate pathogens. So all non-physical action for a chakra balancing, vitamin program, nutrient program, and to eliminate or bring to a state of chaos microbes.
Wow. Do you ever get sick?
No, I'm very healthy.
Yeah. And if you did, would you do you keep your photo in there?
All the time. Yep.
Yeah.
I treated myself this morning. You know, when you wake up, you have a little biofilm on your mouth. I feel my teeth now, they're clean. There's no biofilm in my mouth.
How interesting is that? Yeah. And who can explain? Do you see any difference in progress with somebody that you're working with that has like a mindfulness practice, like affirmations, if they're in therapy versus being new to this?
Usually people who have a more positive attitude fare better. They will accelerate their healing. So if you're positive, you're going to accelerate your healing by this process.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, they always talk about the power of the subconscious mind. So if you're giving someone the picture, if they think it's going to happen versus if they doubt that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You think that has?
Yes, I do. There's always a placebo effect. And what I've seen are those who have a positive outlook and who want to heal and who want to participate in the healing, they usually heal much quicker. That's my observation.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Wow. So the best way, again, to get in touch with you is your website, scarletlight.com. Yes. And we'll put that information in the show link. In the show, yeah. And then you're going to do the 15-day free Scalar Light sessions, which correct. Is such a beautiful gift. Thank you. And is there anything else you'd like to share with our friends?
I thank you for this opportunity. God bless you, ladies. Let's heal the world in the quantum realm with this new science of energetic healing, quantum healing. We don't work with people, we work with force fields. The future is ours.
So beautiful. Thank you for everything you do, Tom. To you and all of our friends out there, you are amazing.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk Wellness. This podcast has been brought to you by the Hugs for Life Healing Center, a division of the Extraordinary Lives Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. If you would like to listen to more conversations like this, we invite you to subscribe to our mailing list at www.elfempowers.org to be notified when our weekly episodes are published. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you our next conversation on Let's Talk Wellness.